Freakos, it's Big E here. Welcome back to a Cataclysm Classic.
How's it going?
How's it going? That's Blackfoot. This is our Goblin Priest. He's a holy healer. I got us queued up for some dungeons. Got a tank in the queue. Just need 2 DPS, so I'm assuming the queue's going to pop fairly soon. I hope you guys and gals are doing well today. Made a couple of sales on the old auction house. Reposted the bulk of it. Anyway, I just watched the, well, I'm halfway through it. I love Rick Beato's interviews that he does, and I also love it when he breaks down songs. I'm not really into when he goes over the, whatever the current top 10 is on Spotify or whatever. It's all garbage. But he just did an interview with Jerry Cantrell, like one of my heroes musically. I'm going to finish it up in a little bit. Guy's just so laid back, and it's like the riff master. If you don't know who Jerry Cantrell is, he's a guitarist and great voice too. He was with Alice in Chains, and he's got a bunch of solo work as well. If you're a guitar guy, you should know about Jerry Cantrell, in my opinion. Alice in Chains, of course, out of the Seattle scene in the 90s. The lead singer, Lane Staley, super, super unique voice. That first album, they had Facelift, just incredible, and then they had Dirt. They're still continuing. They're the new lead singer. He's good, definitely good. I think there are very few bands that can ever replace a singer, especially if the singer's got like a unique voice. Like a good example of that was AC/DC. They just, I mean, Brian Johnson and Bon Scott, obviously different voices, but they are similar in a way. They're just really rock and roll sounding. But Alice in Chains did a great job. The band Audio Slave is compromised. That's Rage Against the Machine, the entire band, except for Zach Del Roca, the singer. But, of course, Chris Cornell, good gosh, did he fill those shoes. In my opinion, well, I don't want to say better, because it depends on your style of music, but Chris Cornell, in my opinion, is one of the best singers ever. It's too bad he has passed, but anyway, it just was, I love listening to, especially if it's something I'm into. I love hearing like the early days about a band, or how somebody comes up with a process, and just, you know, really cool. Anyway, I've dug my record player out. I think I mentioned this a couple months ago. Has it been? Maybe not quite that long, but so I'm looking to pick up some albums, you know, as long as they're relatively cheaply priced. Not really. They're not really cheaply priced. But I guess it depends on where you go. Anyway, David Gilmour's got a new solo album coming out. I'm interested in getting that as well. But I can't really afford luxuries like that. But the Jerry Cantrell's album, that's pretty decently priced. It's not coming out till October, I think. Anyway. Come on, DPS. This is weird. Usually, you get a tank and a healer, the queue pops. What are we doing here, man? We don't have much to choose from. This is ridiculous to me. It really is. There's so few dungeons for such long spans while you're leveling. I wonder if they've done that to get you to go out in the world and level, or, you know, quest or something. I don't know. Maybe there just isn't that many dungeons for, you know, for certain level ranges. I always felt like there was a lot more. Anyway, get us leveled up. I'd love to do some northern dungeons. Mm-hmm. Those Wrath dungeons. Wrath dungeons. Some Cataclysm dungeons. I feel so alone. So I got a... It's not a story about Alice in Chains, but I'm their age. The whole Seattle sound scene, the guys from Soundgarden, Alice in Chains, Pearl Jam, we're like the same age. Those dudes. They probably maybe a little bit older than me, but anyway, it doesn't matter. But when I was very young, like I left home when I was in my teens, and by the time I was 21, I had worked my way up through this little company I was working for called Calicum. I mean, I didn't work my way up, but I started out just painting the ceilings of the place, just like manual labor. And then I worked my way onto like the maintenance team of the company, and I did very well there. And then I volunteered to transfer from Virginia, where I was working in Virginia Beach, actually Norfolk, to East Hartford, Connecticut. They were going to build a brand new plant from the ground up. So I went up there and did that. For about a year, we built that plant from the ground up. All of the tanks, all of the chemical lines, everything we put in there. Massive wastewater tanks, you name it. And I worked my way up to supervisor. Anyway, while I was doing that, I was being paid per diem. And they paid for an apartment for us. It was a pretty good damn deal. And what I did is I just took my check and I put it right in the bank, because the per diem I was getting would cover meals and I didn't have rent or bills. So I got a good chunk of money saved up. And we finally went online, and, you know, as far as the plant goes, not online, this is before the internet, really. But I rented a house, a really nice little house, and my girlfriend I invited up to come live with me. And anyway, the whole point of this whole story, this still blows me away. I spent $3,000 on a stereo. It was a massive stereo. You guys probably only seen them in movies. It had two big giant speakers. It had this big rack, right, with like an equalizer. It had EQ. It had double cassette. You have to have double cassette. It had a record player, and it had a 6-slot CD changer. But anyway, I had that Dirt album. Well, it was a CD. I had the CD. And this stereo that I bought had all of these features. It even had an alarm clock on it, which you could set an alarm to play a CD. And I had been messing around with it or something, I don't know, but I somehow set it to go off at like 4:30 or 5 a.m., right, in the morning. And I had the Alice in Chains album, Dirt. And if you know that album, the first song on that album is called Them Bones. And it starts very specifically and will scare the absolute shit out of you if you're not ready for it. You can check it out. Just get some headphones, turn it up, play that song. It starts with Jerry Cantrell's hard guitar riff, and Lane Staley, the singer, does this yell at the same time. Anyway, it's like the next morning. So I hooked the stereo up and everything, and you know, I was messing with it, and it was that next morning, that thing went off at 4:30 in the morning with that fucking song. It was terrifying. And that happened the next morning, too, because I thought I had turned the alarm off, but I didn't. I finally just took the CD out until I figured it out. But every time I hear that song, I think about that that stereo that I paid $3,000 for. Stupid. It was nice. It was top of the line. You know, this is like 91 or 92. It was top of the line. It had water-cooled speakers. That was a big thing back then. Absolutely unnecessary. But it was loud. Holy shit, was that stereo loud. They don't really make them... Well, they're probably much better, but... And so the house was really empty because I just rented it and we didn't have anything yet. So if you've ever been in an empty house, it's really echoey, right? So imagine that song coming on, cranked, like 4:30 in the morning. It's like a nightmare. Dude, what is going on here, man? What's going on, man? You want to continue story time, or you want me to do a cutscene? Story timey! Da-da-da-da-doo. Da-da-da-da. I also bought my very first vehicle up there. I put $3,000 down on an S10, a Chevrolet S10 pickup truck. It had a little Tahoe package, little teeny truck. It was a 1992. I bought it brand new in November of 91. Yeah. Never do that. Never buy a brand new vehicle. It's a huge waste of money. As soon as you drive it off the lot, it's depreciated. But I love that truck. Yes, I did. And I also had a motorcycle. I had a, it was a beautiful, beautiful bike. It was a Honda Rebel 450. It was an 86. It was beautiful. It was all chrome. I mean, it was a small bike, right? But back then I wasn't small, you know, I'm 5'11", but I was much thinner than I was. But I drove that bike for years. Anyway, I had left it in Virginia when I transferred up with the company because we had rental cars and all this shit. I think that's how we got up there. Actually, I think they flew us up there. Yeah, they actually flew us. And then we had a rental car that we would use to get back and forth to work. They rented us this apartment we were staying in. I think in a place called Cromwell, Connecticut. But anyway, I had, after I was kind of settled and stuff, like I wanted the bike, you know, so I can't remember what I did. I probably flew home to Virginia. Back then, plane tickets were cheap. You could get a plane ticket and not, you know, it wouldn't cost $1,200 or some stupid shit. You get a plane ticket for $80. Like, it just, or cheaper. But I flew home, and then I drove the bike back from, that was in Newport News, Virginia. Actually, Denby, Virginia. I drove it all the way up to East Hartford, Connecticut. Yeah, I think I did it in a day and a like part of a night. But I have a story about that trip, and I've told this before on the channel, I think. So this is in, like I said, the early 90s. And you guys may or may not remember, probably not, but Crips and Bloods, that was a thing. Now that was, you know, obviously that was in California, but not just. Anyway, the Bloods were red, the Crips were blue, I think is the deal. And so I was riding, and I got into New York, I think, a real bad area of New York. I had to pull off for gas. And I had really long hair back then, real long, almost down to my ass, because It was the 90s, man. And I had this blue bandana on. I usually put this blue bandana. I've actually got a picture of me somewhere. I can dig it out if you guys want to see me with long hair. And that motorcycle, actually. But, so I pulled, and I would braid my hair in the back, because if not, if you ride a motorcycle with your hair, it is going to be a rat's nest of tangles. So, but anyway, so I'd also have this blue bandana, and I wore it to also kind of keep the helmet nice and snug, and it wouldn't rub on my head. Now, there was actually no helmet laws in Connecticut. I remember, well, I'll talk about that later. Anyway, I'm in New York. Crappy area, and I'm just getting gas. I pulled my helmet off, and I'm just pumping gas. And I look up, and there's like this old ass car, and there's like 5 black dudes with red gear, with red fucking bandanas, man. Like, obviously, I don't know. I don't think I look like a gangbanger or whatever, but I played it off pretty well. Like, and this is back when I was like a lunatic. Like, I would fight somebody for looking at me the wrong way, because I was emotionally screwed up. But I knew better than this, right? These guys could have guns. Who fucking knows, right? You could just get shot for wearing the wrong colors. So I just kind of looked back down, and I just kind of played it off. I wasn't trying to start anything, but it hit me like immediately. I was pretty nervous. It was that was a very, very uncomfortable couple of minutes, to say the least. But I did have to go into the gas station to pay. But when I got into the gas station, I just pulled the bandana off, and I just put it in my back pocket. I don't know if they were checking me out or whatever. I didn't look back over. I didn't want to risk it, get shot, for wearing the wrong color bandana. Anyway, there was no helmet law in Connecticut. There probably is now, but back then a lot of states didn't have helmet laws, which is stupid. It's just absolutely stupid. But I remember getting into Connecticut. I crossed the line from Rhode Island or whatever borders that to the south. Well, it's probably New York. I went in through that way. Probably Route 95. But I remember I got into Connecticut. I unstrapped the helmet and just chucked it off into the woods on the side of the highway as I was riding. I don't know. I felt free or something. Anyway. Real stupid. Yeah, perfect timing. I have another story about a helmet. I got into a motorcycle accident, and I was wearing a helmet. This was in Virginia, in Norfolk, Virginia, leaving a Colichem, that place I worked before I transferred to Connecticut. But I didn't have the helmet tight. The strap was loose. It had the strap, right? But it wasn't. I basically could just pull the helmet off or whatever. Had I had the helmet tight, I probably would not be here today. I know that sounds weird. So what had happened is it was my fault. I was in the left-hand lane, and they had a middle lane that was like a turning lane where cars would go into. So you had 2 lanes one way, 2 lanes the other way, and then a middle lane that you would drive into to go left or right across the road. And there was a car in front of me who just was not going, like super slow, no signal or anything. And traffic was heavy. I mean, we were moving, but this guy was just not going anywhere. So I floored it and went off to the left side of him into that middle lane. And right as I got about up to his door, he just pulled over. He just made the left and cut the bike out from under me. And my head ended up getting caught in the tire in the wheel well, and it actually spun my head up and pulled the helmet right off my head and just like threw it. If that helmet strap had been tight, I have no doubt it would have snapped my neck like a twig, because it would have had no place to go. Kind of nuts. I was so shaky. So shaky. I had to sit on the side of the road for 20 minutes for my adrenaline to go away. Anyway. Story time with Big E. Alright. We've got it. We've got the detention block. Look at this. We have 2 warlocks and a hunter. 3 pets. That's kind of cool. Don't worry, you'll be fine. You guys should be fine. Don't want to do that too early because I don't want to pull off this guy. Man, that heal is so good. Yeah, that sanctity is just incredible. Great tank, man. It's just like picking it up. Uh-oh, this is going to be a pull here. Is it? If we have not pulled these 2 rooms, I'm going to be real surprised. Because each of those NPCs got into each of the different rooms over there. Guess not. Alright, stud. Put my fear ward on the tank there. Everybody else should be up here. Should be okay. So we just got feared there. Well, it ate up the fear ward. It's got a CD on it, though. But I can dispel him with B4. Wow. Get disintegrated. I didn't even look at those. I don't think I need anything in here. Alright, well, there's some ridiculous... That's what is a dungeon. Come on, just queue up, man. Queue it up, bro. Yes! So excited about that. Are there mobs in here? There are. I don't know how they didn't pull here. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Miss any loot? We did. Missed all kinds of loot. Got a coffer key. A coffer key over here. Anyway, let's teleport out. See, we got in the old loot bag. We didn't get anything. Why didn't we get a loot bag there? I don't know. 2 DPS have dropped. Oh, oh, here we go. Oh, the tank dropped. I don't know what happened there. Come on, man.
What can I help you with?
You can have that and that and that. Stamina on leather. Sure.
Go with all of
Everybody's dropping, man. Got the tank and the healer, though. There we go. If you've got a tank and a healer queuing up, I don't know why you don't stay in the group. I don't know. That's weird to me. Yeah. Anyway, I got to take a quick moment. I hope the queue doesn't pop. I'm going to leave you with a view. I'm not even going to do a cutscene. We're just going to chill here. I'll be right back. Hang tight. Already. What the fuck happened? What happened? I was in the group? Oh, were they gonna stay? I think the guys were staying. Oh, fuck, man. Yeah, well, we're waiting on a group, son of a bitch. Wow, so if you get kicked, you get this? Nah. Well, we're half an hour. 25 minutes of story time, 5 minutes of dungeon. All right, well, I guess I'll make it a short episode. That blows, man. I gotta wait for this crap to go off. All right. Well, anyway, we got a one run in there. I don't know why I didn't get a loot bag there. But I guess that'll do it for this one. Just a nice little short episode. You guys and gals take care. Blackfoot the Deserter and I will catch you in the next episode.
Later.
Later. Peace.